Okay, can we start?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Any doubts?
No, sir.
So we basically started off with national income. We have discussed about what is GDP, what is GNP. We talked about the four important concepts: gross versus net, domestic versus national, then market price versus factor cost, then current price versus constant price. So we have done with these four concepts, and with the permutation combination of these four concepts, I have explained 16 concepts related to national income yesterday. So we have done with all the 16 concepts which are related to national income. And if you get one, you know how to convert to any of the. All these are correct, no? So we know about depreciation, we know about net indirect tax. So these are the four instruments that you need to use for NNP, market price at constant prices, or current prices, or factor cost, anything. So I hope there is no problem with that discussion. The voice is getting interrupted. Is there any problem with the voice?
Yes, sir. It's getting interrupted in between.
Okay. Okay. Okay, today I'll start with this national income. Yesterday I have told you national income is nothing but net national product, and you take it at factor cost. This is your national income. Is it audible now? Any problem here? Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so national income is the net national product at factor cost. Okay, so you know how to get net national product. For example, what you generally get from the market, you will get GDP. Okay, the total value addition you will get from the market at market price. So this is what you get. So you know how to convert this. So how many conversions required here? So first you need to convert G to N. First letter you need to convert. So G to N, how can you convert? Gross to net, you will subtract depreciation. Okay, so then what you will get? You will get NDP MP. Then you need to convert this D to N, right? So how can we do that? Plus NFIA. So this is your first step. This is your second step. So now when you do this, what you get? What you get is ND at market price. Now this market price, now you need to convert to factor cost. How can we do that? Plus or minus?
Minus NIT, net indirect tax.
How can we do that? Minus net indirect tax. So what I want to tell you is, if you know GDP market price, you can actually get national income through these process. So we will discuss about the measurement of national income. Then basically I will tell you how to measure this part. Then everything else you can do by using these calculations. Okay, that's what we are going to do after some time. But here, so I hope you understood how we get this. Now we got this much. So national income is this. NNP at factor cost is your national income. Now this you can take at, you can take at current prices. That means the prevailing price, which include inflation. And you can also take it at constant price. We have discussed this yesterday. And when you take it at current price, we call it as nominal GDP. And if you take it at constant price, we call it as real, not GDP, national income. We're talking about national income. So real national income and nominal national income. So here it is real national income, nominal national income. Any doubt in this? So we know NNP factor cost is your national income. You can take it at current, you get nominal national income. You can take it at constant, you'll get real national income. Okay. Now, if you have why we are taking NNP factor cost? Why we are not taking any other measures? Why we are taking NNP factor cost to measure national income? Why we are saying this is the real income? National income means we are measuring the real income. Why we are saying this is the real income? So, for example, let's suppose I am buying this pen from the market. Let's say at 10 rupee. So 10 rupees is the cost of this pen. So out of this, how will this entire 10 be added to this national income? Okay, I'll make a composition here. Let's say raw materials. Raw materials here, let's say it costs 2 rupee. Okay, so this is a raw material. This is a non-factor inputs, right? Not only subtracting depreciation, some more is there. So raw material cost for cost is actually 2 rupee. Then we will talk about factor inputs. Factor inputs means what? Yesterday we have discussed what are the factor inputs. Factor inputs are land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship. And I've told you with this factor inputs only you can make the real value addition. Either through land or labor or capital or entrepreneurship. Either through rent or wages or salaries or interest or profit. So this is the actual value addition. Or the factor inputs is 5 rupee for this pen, production of this pen. Okay, now apart from this, what will be there? There will be depreciation. So let's say depreciation is, let's say 1 rupee. And there will be what? Taxes, right? So net indirect tax or taxes here, there is no point in giving subsidy. So otherwise I can talk about net indirect tax also, but I'm simply writing taxes here. How much it will be? 7, 8. So it will be 2, right? So this is how this pen costs 10 rupee. So I've divided the cost of this pen, which is 10 rupee when I'm bought from the market, which includes all these. Now, what will be added to national income from this? Or how much will be added? Can you tell me how much will be added? Tell me what is NNP at factor cost here? What is NNP at factor cost? Yes, 5, right? Why 5? Because NNP, that means net. Net means we will not add this, right? Depreciation we will ignore from this. So it become 9. Then factor cost. So we will not include taxes. So we will ignore this. And raw materials we will not add here. Okay. So only 5 will be added when we talk about NNP factor cost. Raw material we will never add. We will only add value addition. So NNP factor cost, if you see, it's 5. Now here, national you don't want to consider here because we are not talking about any NFIA. Here we are not talking about any foreign contribution. So NFIA is not important here. So what we are adding, only factor inputs is what actually added when we talk about national income. That's what I want to tell you. What about if I'm talking about GDP MP? Can you tell me from here what is GDP MP value? Exactly from this only. What will be GDP MP?
So 9.
GDP MP will be
7.
Do you think GDP, this raw material will be added? Raw material will not be added. Yesterday I've told you. Only value addition will be taken. Raw material won't be added in GDP. So what will be added is actually 8 rupee. Okay. So GDP MP 8 rupee. What about GDP FC? GDP FC factor cost?
5.
GDP FC? Can you tell me what is GDP FC?
6.
What will be excluded from GDP MP? Yes,
6.
only tax will be excluded, right? So you will exclude tax and GDP-FC will be 6. So GDP-FC will be 6, right? So I hope you understood how you're getting this. So when it comes to, what I want to tell you is when it comes to national income, we will be adding only this factor inputs, only the value addition, real value addition. We ignore depreciation, we won't take, we don't consider the tax also. Okay, so that's what you need to keep in mind when we discuss about national income. Now give a heading measurement of national income. We will discuss about measurement of national income. Measurement of national income. So can I say national income is also equal to national product? So national product is basically your production. That production is your income. So national income is your national product. It can also be understood as national expenditure also. So all these are same. National income, national product, national expenditure, all are same. So in that context, I can either use income method, or I can use production method, or I can use expenditure method. So these are the three main methods, 1, 2, and 3. Three main methods that we are actually going to discuss when we measure the national income. So what you can do is you can give this heading income method. Okay, just give that heading and write one line over there, and then I'll explain it. Income method. Under this method, national income is estimated by, under this method, national income is estimated by adding up incomes of all the factors of production. Adding up incomes of all factors of production. Okay, so income of all factors of production. What are they? Factors of production means land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. So income generated from all these, right? So what is the income generated from land? It will be rent. Rent and sometimes royalties. Like when you're giving it on rent, you may claim some part of the producer profit, etc. So it can be rent and some royalties that you get. Labor, this is the wages or salaries. Capital, it is the interest. Okay, and entrepreneurship, it is the profit. So you will basically add up all these incomes, and there can be one more classification. We can write all these 1, 2, 3, 4. The fifth one is actually mixed income of self-employed. Mixed income of self-employed. So for example, this entrepreneur, this one person may be doing some entrepreneurship and he is doing it in his own land. Okay, so that is actually a mixed income from the land. Actually, he's getting rent also and he's getting profit also. That's a mixed income. Or he's an entrepreneur. He himself is the worker. So he is getting profit and he is getting wage. Otherwise, if he's employing some other person, he get the profit, but he have to pay the wage. So here, similarly, he's getting wage also, right? So it is actually a mixed income. So I hope you understood the fifth category. So adding all these, what you get the domestic income. Okay, so we are talking about Indian case, so we get the domestic income. Means whatever is actually produced in India. What is that? It is nothing. Now, what is domestic income? I forgot to mention along with national income. It is nothing but GDP. GDP is what your domestic income. Okay, so you will get GDP at factor cost. Why it is factor cost? Because we are not taking into consideration the taxes. Here, taxes is not considered. Only the income which is generated is considered. Only value addition is coming. So we get the domestic income here. Domestic income means GDP at factor cost. Okay, see, you can write one line over there. Domestic income equal to GDP at factor cost. Like national income is NNP at factor cost. Here, domestic income. That is a national concept. That is the income of Indians. Domestic income means income of India. What is produced in India. Okay, so this is GDP at factor cost. And this also can be taken at current prices and constant prices. So if you go for current prices, that is nominal domestic income. If you go for constant prices, that is real domestic income. Okay, so if you go for current prices, nominal domestic income, constant prices, real domestic income. Any doubt here? So when you're adding up everything, what you get is the domestic income. That is nothing but GDP. Okay.
Sir, I have a
So
doubt.
yes, what is the doubt?
Sir, actually, you told that GDP is the monetary value of all the final goods and services.
Yes,
So,
yes.
why we are not considering the value of the raw materials? Because
All the goods and services, but we will not add raw materials over there. I've told you final products.
so
In that we will exclude raw materials. Only value addition will be added in GDP. For example, let's say we have a land. Okay, we have a land, and we are constructing a house. This land is there already. We are constructing a house over there. What will be? Let's suppose land costs 50 lakh. This house costs 50 lakh. What will be added to GDP? Will we be adding the entire 1 crore? No, we can add only this. No, the value addition will be added to GDP.
okay.
Okay. Only value addition will be added. Only this factor inputs will be added actually. Then these concepts, factor, cost, etc. will come. That is related to taxes. NDP is related to depreciation. But when it comes to GDP, only value addition. And that's what we call as gross value added. The new concept, no? Gross value added. It's only all about value addition.
Okay, this is only in case of
Raw
GDP.
material you can't consider.
Okay.
Yeah, in case of GDP.
Okay, sir. Thanks.
Yeah. We need to know what is this raw material. We need to differentiate. Obviously, there's a conceptual difference. When we talk of GDP, raw materials is not included, only value addition. So here what we did, we added all that possible value addition. These are the ways in which you can add value. These are the 4 or 5 ways in which you can add value. These are the 5 ways. Value addition means that's how you can generate income. Without any value addition, you cannot generate income. Some value addition should be there to generate income. So these are the only 5 ways you can generate income. So what is this? This is the income generated. That's why domestic income. Income generated in India. So what you are getting here is GDP FC. But what are we looking for now? We are discussing about measurement of national income, right? So GDP FC you have now. Can I get NNP FC now? Can I get it? Can we get NNP-FC from GDP-FC?
Yes, sir.
This is what we have discussed yesterday. You need to do only 3 steps, right? G to N, you know how to convert. We will consider the depreciation. D to N, we know how to convert.
NFIA.
We will consider NFIA. Yes, that's it. That 2 conversion is required. Nothing else. So once we get this domestic income, we can get the national income. That's what income method. So what we did in income method, we simply added all the possible incomes. And all incomes are only possible in this 5 way. You can generate income in only this 5 way. Any other possible way? Can you tell me? Any other way in which you can generate or you can make income? It will come in any of this. Either wages or salaries. Either you get salary or any of this. Is there any other way apart from this? No way. So these are the only way in which you can add value. So value addition will be the salary or the income. Clear now? Yes. Tell me. Export I will discuss now. That will come under consumption. That is 3rd method. We will discuss export, import, that difference. Net export we will discuss when we discuss about expenditure method. That can be a profit. From export, what you get will be related to your profit. Okay. Okay, next method you can write. Next method is production method. So, production method or value added method. Okay, just write one line over there. In this method, national income is estimated by, in this method, national income is estimated by adding up value addition, adding up value addition by all economic entities, by all economic entities, by all economic entities. Okay, so all economic entities, what is the value addition? You will take everything. So for example, let's suppose this pen manufacturing company, let's exactly the same example. If you take, what is the cost of raw material that we have discussed? We have discussed 2 rupee, and factor input we have discussed. Factor input we have discussed is 5 rupee, and then we have discussed about the depreciation of, let's say, 1 rupee, and then we have discussed about taxes. NIT we have discussed about 2 rupee, right? So we will see the value addition here. Real value addition is this. Okay, but what we get from the market, excluding raw material, we will get, let's say, 8 rupee. Okay, so here, this is what your gross value added. Gross. Why it is gross? Because depreciation is part of this. Okay, and this is at market price or factor cost. If I'm talking about 8.
Market price.
Market price. Why it is market price? Because tax is also included, right? So GVAMP. GVAMP. It is. I'm talking about in this particular context. So I'm talking about gross value added. For the case of this pen, value added means I can't talk about this. So simply value addition, if I'm saying, I can only talk about this 5 rupee, original value addition. But gross value addition at market price, when I'm taking, I include this and I include this. You got it? Because this is how we get it from the market. It is easy to get from the market like this. And we can exclude raw material because input taxes understood, no, that is available, that data is available. So based on this, we will get gross value added. How this is excluded and everything we will understand when taxation is done. So gross value added. Why gross? Because depreciation is there. Why market price? Because this NIT is there. National net indirect tax is there. So what we get from this pen actually is the gross value added at market price. Now, similarly, all the firms, as you have written in the definition, you will add all the firms, all the value added. So can I say like gross value added? Let's put sigma symbol. So gross value added at market price you will get. That is your GDP market price. Right? GDP market price means actually total value addition of all the firms, of all the production. Okay, so you got GDP MP now. What we need to get? National income. So what I need to get? NNP factor cost. So what you need to do here? You need to convert this, you need to convert this, and you need to convert this also. So 3 steps. So first you will go for depreciation. See, you could have done it here also, but we are doing it towards the end. You can go for depreciation, and then you can add NFA. So you can convert domestic to national and market price to factor cost. How can you convert that? Market price to factor cost minus net indirect tax. Here net indirect tax included, so we subtract it. Okay? Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Any doubt here? It is actually similar to the first one only, income method only. In income method, we are only taking factor income. Only this. See, in that case, only this part we have taken. So it was much more easy. Here, we are considering this also. So it is slightly technical, slightly difficult. You need to do all these processes. Otherwise, it is almost same. Okay. Third one, you write expenditure method. Expenditure method. Okay. And see, basically, you don't want to know this much detail. All this technical knowledge is not required from GS point of view. Nobody will ask you question. But what they will ask you is in which sector, which method will be used. That they can be asked. So you need to have an idea. These are the 3 methods, and these are the basics of this method. And I'll tell you in which sector, like in primary sector, in secondary sector, in tertiary sector, which sector, which method is used is what you need to know. Otherwise, nobody is going to ask you this technical, in-depth kind of questions. Okay, this conversions and everything that we have discussed just for the convenience only, nothing else. Okay, now expenditure method means here what you will do is first method, income method. You added all the income. Similarly, you will add all the expenditure. This is what you're actually going to do here. Okay, you write there. In this method, national income is estimated. National income is estimated by adding up expenditures on all final goods and services. By adding up expenditures on all final goods and services. Okay, so expenditure, you can write this formula there. I'll explain this. C plus I plus G plus X minus M. Okay, so what is Y? What is Y? In economy, what is the symbol Y means?
Income.
Income. We discussed that in the first session itself. This is income. So we are actually measuring the income. Total income will be this. Now, C, what is C? This is a private final consumption expenditure. You can write there C, private sector expenditure, final consumption expenditure. Okay, so you can simply write private sector expenditure. G, government expenditure. So this is private expenditure. This is government expenditure. Okay, private expenditure means all expenditures of all the people will come. Government expenditure means the expenditures of the government will come. Now this I see in some investments. Okay, so you can write there expenditure on capital goods. I is actually investment. I've told you why we are using Y in case of income. Why we are not using I? Because I is already used as investment. And why we are using Y as income? Because income is generally yearly income, no? So that's why we are using Y here. Confused, huh? Are you confused?
No, sir.
Okay. So C plus I plus G, X minus M. X is import, X is export, M is import. This is export. This is import. Now, what is the confusion? I didn't understood. See, I is investment. This is investment. Y is income. Income we are not representing with I because we have already used I for investment. That's what I said. And why we are using Y to represent income is because income is generally understood in terms of yearly income. So yearly Y. That's why we are using Y. That's it. Okay. So C plus I plus G, X minus M. X is the export and M is the import. So here you can write this together. If you want, you can write net exports. Okay. So this is your total expenditure. So this is your total expenditure. See, X minus M, this is net export. This is not NFIA. NFIA is different concept. So I hope you don't have any confusion with respect to this. Here we are talking about export and import. NFIA means whatever Indians earn from abroad and whatever foreigners earn from India, that difference. That is NFIA, net factor income from abroad. This is net exports.
Sir, hi,
Yes.
sir. So this C includes expenditure by all private enterprises also?
All private expenditure will come under C. All government expenditure will come under G.
Means under
All
C,
investment will come here, I.
means under C, expenditure by people, private enterprises, everything will come here. And all the government
All private will come under C.
Okay, sir.
All private will come under C. All private. Okay. Now, see, this is the income. Actually, this is the total expenditure. That's your income actually, only income. And here, if you see, if it is a closed economy, do you think this will be there? Closed economy, theoretically only this is possible. Otherwise, one or some forms of connection will be there with outside world. For example, if it is a closed economy, this part will not be there. So in case of closed economy, theoretically you can write C plus I plus G. Export and import will not be there. This is in case of open economy. Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
when we compare with the other countries' national income or per capita income, which one we use?
We use GDP. Comparison, we use GDP.
Okay.
Okay. Or comparison, we use GDP, and GDP market price we use. And two types of comparison is there. See, we measure GDP market price. This is comparison we are using. Two types are there at market price and purchasing power parity rate. These are two different comparisons. I will discuss this in detail when it comes to purchasing power parity, etc. Because market price, we may be very low, like our position is in 8th or 9th when it comes to total GDPs of all the countries. But if it is purchasing power parity, we will come to 3rd. Okay. Similarly, if we talk about market price, US is at the top, but purchasing power parity, China will be at the top. So this difference, what is this purchasing power parity? We will discuss. The obvious reason is $1. These two are exchange rates. Okay, $1 if you take at market price, this is around 76. At purchasing power parity, it's around 18 only. So that conversion happens. That's the reason why that difference is there. But as of now, the question what you have asked is actually whether which one is using for comparison. GDP market price is used for comparison.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that okay? Okay. Now I'll discuss which method in which sector. You can use this. See, what are the three main sectors of economy? First one, agriculture. Second one, so you write under agriculture and allied activities. So that is the first sector. Then industry. So industry, which all things will come? Mining and quarrying. You can write there. I cannot write it here. Difficult to write here. So agriculture, under agriculture, you write agriculture and allied activities. Under industry, you write mining and quarrying. Manufacturing, few under industry, few will come: mining and quarrying, manufacturing, electricity, gas, water supply, construction. All these will come under industry. Okay, so mining, quarrying, manufacturing, electricity, gas, water supply, construction. All these come under industry. Third one, services. Okay, third one, services. So this is a major classification. Three sectors, main three sectors. Now see, one more categorization is there. What is that? Primary sector. What will come under primary sector? In primary sector, what will come?
Agriculture.
Agriculture. This will come. This part will come. Agriculture and allied activities, right? That will come. Plus one more will come. So from agriculture and allied activity only, when we talk about agriculture sector, that will be there in primary sector. But from industry, one more will come. What is that?
So mining.
Mining and quarrying. Why it is coming in primary? Mining and quarrying. Why it is coming in primary?
Because we collect the raw materials.
Because in primary, everything is to deal with nature. Mining and quarrying having direct connection with nature. So that's why it is added in primary sector. Okay. Mining and quarrying is directly related to nature. So agriculture plus this is what your primary. Okay. Now secondary, what all things will come?
So manufacturing, electricity,
This three, except mining and quarrying, whatever is there in industry, all the three will come. Like manufacturing, electricity, gas, water supply, and then construction. All these three will come in secondary. What about tertiary?
services.
Service.
Tertiary, services. Tertiary, it is services. Then is there anything more? There is quaternary. Quaternary sector. What is that?
Specialized services.
That is related to research and development. So there's a new one. This is related to research and development. That is a quaternary sector of economy. So this is another classification. Okay. Is this okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now we will see the methods. If you talk about production method, okay. So first method, let's say production method. So where you will use production method, in which sector you will use production method, in which sector it is easy to measure the production.
Manufacturing.
So primary and secondary.
Yes, manufacturing it is easy to measure the production.
So primary sector.
Agriculture production method is used. Obviously, production in agriculture it is easy to measure. Then manufacturing, mining, quarrying, electricity, gas, water supply. So in all these, actually, production method is used. So in agriculture and industry, production method is used except in this construction. Why not in construction production method? The previous example which I have told you, the land cost. Let's say you are buying, you're constructing some building. So land cost something like 25 lakh. Okay, and the production cost is, let's say, 20 lakh. So not lakh could be added in GDP. All this production could be added. So that's why, what we do is, in case of construction, we use expenditure method. What is the expenditure? So you can write there in case of construction, we use expenditure method. In case of consumption, we use construction. So only in construction, we use expenditure method. And all these we use production method. What about services? Which one is these? Do you think service you can measure the production? Is it tangible?
No, sir. No, sir.
Services are not tangible, right? So expenditure, income method, whatever you earn, it will be easy to measure the income in services. So in case of services, it will be income. And from your prelims exam point of view, this is what you need to know. They will ask you which sector, which method is used. And you don't want to focus too much on the different methods that you have learned. Even if you didn't understood that technicalities, it was a mathematical explanation. So even if you didn't understood that explanation that I've done in case of different methods, you just need to know what are the three methods and which method is used in which sectors. This part, this discussion, this page that you can see is more important from your exam point of view. Otherwise, for your next class, I have explained those technical aspects. That is not required because we are finding GDP, MP, then we are converting this G to N, then D to N. All these conversions are done, right? That's mathematical. Nobody will ask you to do all these conversions. Earlier prelims used to ask before 2010, but post 2010, if you see, those kind of questions are not asked. So conceptual question, this kind of questions will be asked. They will ask you which kind of method in which sector. That is the maximum that you can ask. That they can actually ask. Okay. So I hope you are clear. There's no need to have any confusion here. Yes, Nidish, any doubt? No. Okay. Now you give a heading, items included in national income. There are some items which are included. There are some items which are excluded. We will see that. So give a heading, items included in national income. Okay, so first you write, we already discussed that intermediate goods. I'm not writing here, I'll just talk. You can write there, intermediate items. What does that mean? Raw materials. Okay. So first one, intermediate goods. Second one, transfer payments. Transfer payments. What do you mean by transfer payments? You write one line over there, then I'll explain if you didn't understood. These are unilateral payments. These are unilateral payments which are made without any consideration. Unilateral payments which are made without any considerations. Like gift, donations, grants, etc. Okay, so these are unilateral payments which are made without any consideration. Transfer payments. Why it is not added to GDP or national income? Why? There is no value addition.
No value
right?
addition.
These
Yes.
are given just like that. The pocket money which you are getting, the gift that you are getting, all these have no value addition. Okay, so these will not be added in GDP. So transfer payment will not come. Third, one more you write, unemployment allowance, old age pension, scholarships. These can be asked in exam. Which among the following will be part of GDP or national income, which is not. So unemployment allowance will not come, old age pensions, scholarships, prize money, windfall gains means lottery, foreign remittances. Okay, so these will not be added to national income. One more you write, sale and purchase of old or second-hand goods.
So can you
Sale
please-
and purchase of
So can you please repeat once?
sale and purchase of
No, the previous ones.
old or second-hand good. Previous one, unemployment allowance, old age pensions, scholarships, prize money, windfall gains means lottery, foreign remittances, etc. So you can see that, and you will be able to understand. What do you need to see? Whether value addition is there or not. Scholarship, no, right? Prize money, no. So value addition is not there means that will not be part of GDP. Okay. Next one, sale and purchase of old or second-hand goods. See, for example, you are buying a second-hand car. Will that be added to GDP? No. Why? Because when it was purchased for the first time, it is added to GDP. If you're adding now, that will be a repetition. So that won't be added to GDP. But one specific case is here. In the purchase of that second-hand car, if some broker is assisting you, then you need to pay some broker fee, right? Will that be added to GDP?
Yes, sir. Services.
Yeah, it is a service that he is doing. So that will be added to GDP. That's a service. Is that clear? So that broker fee in purchasing the second-hand good will be added to GDP, but not the second-hand good as such. Next one, black money. Obviously, it will not be added because you don't know the source of it. So when we discuss about black money, this point we'll raise there, it leads to underestimation of national income. Why it is not added to national income? Okay, black money or illegal money will not be added to GDP. Next one, capital gains. Next point, capital gains. What do you mean by capital gains? Suppose you bought a land, okay, for 1 lakh you bought a land and next year it became 1,20,000. That 20,000 will not be added as part of GDP. Capital gains means it is related to share or anything, gold, land or anything. That capital gains will not be added. So you bought a house and when you're selling it, like if it is some profit is there, that won't be added to GDP. Capital gains won't be added. Whether it is gold, house, shares, etc. Capital gains, upon capital gains, tax is there. We will discuss that capital gain tax and everything when we discuss about taxation. At this point, it's not required. Short-term capital gain tax is there, long-term capital gain tax is there, and capital gain taxes abolished for long-term and not for short-term. Those things we'll discuss later. Then one more important one, the debate is going on this particular one, that is household services. You write there, household services. That means housewife services especially. So housewife service, they are also equally doing certain activities. They are doing the value addition that has to be added to GDP. That discussion is going on. But nobody will pay salary to the housewives, right? So housewife services. What about personal services? You're doing services to yourself. That also will not be added. Those are personal things like you're taking bath and everything that is not part of GDP. Okay, so all these will not be added in GDP. Now you write one more heading there: items included in national income. Items included in national income. I'm not saying all the items included in national income. Those items which you might have confusion, I'll tell here. Okay, so first one, value of self-consumed goods. Value of self-consumed goods. What does that mean? Suppose you have a house and you stay over there. If you're not having house, you'll have to rent a house, okay, and you have to pay rent. So that rent is part of factor inputs, no? The rent that you are paying or you're getting, it's part of factor inputs. So if you are staying in your own house, that rent will be actually considered as part of GDP. That's what I mean by self-consumed goods. You understood what I mean to say? Even if you're staying in your house, that rent will be added to GDP. Okay? Because that's a factor income, rent, which is generated upon the land. Okay, then
So
estimate. Yeah, that is actually.
So how it can be quantified, this rent?
Quantification is obviously difficult. It is difficult, but approximate average will be taken.
Sir, can you repeat it
Quantification
again,
part
please?
is difficult.
Okay, sir.
You write one line over there, estimated rent of self-occupied property. It will be clear. Estimated rent of self-occupied property. First one, value of self-consumed goods. Value of self-consumed goods. Okay, value of self-consumed goods means, better example will be like you have produced something, some agricultural commodities or whatever it is for your consumption. Like you made rice or you made some vegetables. Will that be added to GDP? That will be added to GDP. That's the first point. That is a value of self-consumed goods. You made it for yourself. That will be added to GDP. Again, quantification is a problem, but theoretically that will be added to GDP. Otherwise, you will have to buy it from market and you have to pay over there. That is related to production. Some production is there. So it is done for self-consumption. That will be added to GDP. Then rent of self-occupied property, that will be added to GDP. Why I've discussed these two? Because you might have confusion with respect to this. Because you are not paying, no. When you're consuming your own produce, you are not paying. So you might have confusion. And when you're staying in your own house, you're not paying. So you may have confusion. That's why I've made it clear. So if you're getting this in your exam, you have to pick this as the one which is added in GDP. Now here there is a contradiction. Value of self-consumed goods is added to GDP. But value of self-consumed service is not added to GDP. What is that self-consumed service? Housewife service, which we have discussed about, right?
Personal service.
That is not added to GDP, but value of self-consumed good is added to GDP. So that's why that discussion and debate which is going on, that's because GDP is all about goods and services. So if you can add value of self-consumed goods, why you're not adding value of self-consumed services? That is actually the debate. So that is there. So what you need to know from exam point of view is this only. We don't want to get into the details, debates and everything. Not required. Only from exam point of view we'll speak. Yeah, what about a person who doesn't own a property giving rent? That rent is factor input, that will be added to GDP. The person who's getting rent, he's getting income, he's making income. He's making income through the property that he have. So that is part of factor inputs, no? The property, the land, that is factor input. That generate income. Rent is the income which is generated. That will be added to GDP. All rents will be added to GDP. No doubt in that. See, how can you generate income? Through four ways: land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship. From land, you get what? Rent. From labor, you're working, you get wages or salaries. From capital, yeah, what is your doubt? From capital, you get interest. And from entrepreneurship, you make profit. No, it won't be a repetition. You are making one property, will be getting rent from one person only. So what is the repetition over there? Because that is a value addition that did something. No. If you are renting it out, then what is the estimated income of self-occupied property? If you're renting it out, the rent that you're getting will be added. Okay, if you're renting it out, that only will be added. It won't be added double. If you are using it, suppose I'm using my house, then that rent will be added. If I'm renting it out, what the rent you are getting will be added. Now, what is the idea? If you are not using this house, if you are renting it out, you would have made some income. And that is what you mean by that value of self-occupied property or rent of the self-occupied property. That is the logic. Yeah, okay. What else? You write a heading, facts about national income. Facts about estimation of national income. Facts about estimation of national income. Who estimated national income for the first time in India? You write there, Dadabhai Naoroji. if the owner live in his house and also rented it, like lower, if suppose ground floor he is living and upper floor it is rented, then lower floor you are consuming, so that will be also added, and upper floor whatever rent you are getting, that will also be added. Both will be added in that case. Okay. So facts about national income. You write who estimated for the first time? Dadabhai Nauroji. In which year? 1867-68. Which book? Poverty and Un-British Rule in India. You can write all this. Poverty and Un-British Rule in India. He proposed a drain of wealth theory. Just write in bullet points only. Dadabhai Nauroji, 1867-68. Book name Poverty and Un-British Rule in India. Drain of wealth theory. And since 1956, who was estimating? CSO, Central Statistical. What is CSO? What is CSO?
Central Statistical Organization.
Not organization. Earlier it was organization. That's what I wanted to tell you. Earlier it was organization. Even NSSO was organization, but then these two are merged to National Statistical Organization. So
Yeah.
national NSO became organization. NSSO became office. So CSO, that O is not organization, office. Central Statistical Office.
Okay.
Similarly, National Sample Survey Office. Now, under National Statistical Organization. Okay. So since you can write there, since 1956, CSO, Central Statistical Office, has been estimating national income and related aggregates. Are published in its report titled, National Accounts Statistics. Okay, so CSO is under which ministry? You need to know this. Ministry of
Statistics and Program Implementation.
Statistics and Program Implementation. Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. Okay. Yeah, one more session is enough. We can complete with that.
So I have a doubt, like how the government collect the data regarding all these.
The data will be collected from the market. All these tax details. See, obviously, developing countries, there are obvious limitations and problem with data. Why? Because most of the activities are in unorganized sector. The report name is National Account Statistics. National Accounts Statistics. See, collection of data in developed countries, it will be very easy because everything is through proper channels and the organized sector. Here in developing countries and least developed countries, the problem is most of the activities are in unorganized sector. So even the national income is also actually underestimated. But whatever available data, and then we take average.
So is it collected from any particular ministry, like
Okay.
MCA, like this MCA database?
That CSO will collect all these data.
Okay, okay.
Under Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. So CSO is now working under NSO, National Statistical Office. Any doubts? Anything else? Yeah. So we will stop here for the day if you don't have any other doubts, and we will continue tomorrow. Any doubts you can ask me now. And one more session is enough for national income. Tomorrow, what I'll do is I'll discuss the changes in accounting methodology, national income measurement and accounting methodology. Some changes are there. What is GVA? What is GVA? Market price? All these concepts will be discussed tomorrow. With that, we can complete the second method.
Okay.
Can we stop here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Bye, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, see you.
Bye, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye. So that's about the session. I hope you understood everything that we have discussed today. If you have any doubt in any of the videos that we have discussed so far, you can get in touch with me here. That's my Instagram ID. Okay. Or you can join the Telegram channel. You will get all my videos over there. Everything is there. Or you can see here, this is the Telegram channel, or this is the Instagram ID. These two are my Facebook page. You can get in touch with me in any of this. If you want to learn economy with me or history with me or general studies, any subjects, you can, if you need regular classes, you can get in touch with me, or the online classes are available with Study IQ. You will get all those classes. Still, you will get my YouTube videos in this Telegram channel. Okay. So I hope you understood everything that we have discussed. So see you guys. Thank you.